It is roughly 6 a.m. in Israel. A squadron of fighter jets catapults into the morning sky, heavily armed with long-range, high-precision missiles. Their target isn't a military base or a rogue militia. Their target is the absolute peak of the Iranian government. Two hours and 5 minutes later, those missiles slam into a compound in Tehran. In a span of just 30 seconds, 30 senior Iranian officials are wiped out. Among the dead, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran. This wasn't just an assassination. It was the opening salvo of a coordinated US and Israeli decapitation strike. That has sent the entire Middle East into a spiraling, unprecedented war. Missiles are raining down from Israel to the UAE. Luxury hotels are burning, and the global economy is teetering on the edge of the abyss. Today, we break down exactly how the US and Israel pulled off the unthinkable, the massive intelligence operation behind it, and the terrifying retaliation that is unfolding right now. To understand how we got to this explosive morning, we have to rewind. Since 1979, when the US-backed Shah was overthrown, Iran was transformed into an Islamic republic. With Ayatollah Khamenei, his stance was clear: the US and Israel were sworn enemies. When Ali Khamenei took power in 1989, that ideological war only deepened. For decades, a shadow war raged. Cyber attacks, assassinated scientists, and crushing sanctions over Iran's secret nuclear program. In 2015, a diplomatic breakthrough seemed possible with a landmark nuclear deal. But by 2018, President Trump pulled the US out, calling it a horrible, one-sided deal. From there, the countdown to war began. By 2025, the boiling point was reached. Following US and Israeli bunker-buster strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites, Iran's economy collapsed. The currency crashed, food prices skyrocketed, and the Iranian people took to the streets in mass protests. Call it for the end of the Islamic Republic. The regime's response was merciless. They plunged the country into darkness, shutting down the internet for days. When the dust settled, thousands of civilians were dead and 50,000 had been arrested. With the US building up troops in the region, a last-ditch diplomatic effort in Geneva failed on Thursday, February 26th. The die was cast. Behind the scenes, the CIA had been playing a long game. They had gained specific insights into how Ayatollah Khamenei and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps communicated under pressure. They mapped Khamenei's movements, studied his patterns for months, and knew exactly where he would be. US and Israeli forces originally planned a covert strike under the cover of darkness. But intelligence revealed a massive gathering of top Iranian officials at a government compound, housing the Supreme Leader and National Security Council. The opportunity was simply too good to pass up. They moved the attack to broad daylight. The strike was completely devastating. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in one building, while a separate strike leveled another building, housing the top brass of Iran's national security apparatus. In just 30 seconds, Israel and the US wiped out 30 senior officials. The dead included the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, the head of the National Defense Council, the Commander-in-Chief of the IRGC, and the Defense Minister. It was dubbed Operation Roaring Lion by Israel and Operation Epic Fury by the US, as a staggering 200 Israeli fighter jets moved into a third wave of attacks to obliterate Iran's air defenses and missile stockpiles. US warships launched Tomahawk cruise missiles at targets in eastern Iran. Amidst the fire, both Trump and Netanyahu released videos urging the Iranian people to rise up and take over their government. But modern warfare is rarely perfectly precise. Shortly after initial announcements, an airstrike hit the Saraki Elementary Girls' School. Located next to an Iranian naval base, Iranian state media claimed 175 people, mostly children, were killed in the blast. Iran's remaining leadership, including President Masoud Pezeshkian, who survived the strike, vowed brutal revenge. They unleashed Operation True Promise 4. The Middle East immediately caught fire. Over 200 missiles rained down on Israel alone. But Iran didn't stop at Israel. They lashed out at the entire U.S. allied infrastructure across the region. In the UAE, an Iranian drone struck Terminal 3 of the Dubai International Airport, effectively shutting down their airspace. Luxury hotels like the Fairmont caught fire. In Bahrain, drones struck near the U.S. Navy 5th Fleet headquarters. 66 ballistic missiles were fired at Qatar. Strikes targeted the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. Passenger terminals in Kuwait and U.S. military bases in Jordan were also hit. Simultaneously, Houthi rebels in Yemen announced they were resuming attacks on shipping lanes in the Red Sea. The shockwaves of these 30 seconds in Tehran have fractured the globe. NATO's missile defense systems in Europe are on high alert. Experts warn Iranian sleeper cells could be activated. Oil prices have skyrocketed as the closure of the Strait of Hormuz threatens a global energy crisis. Back in the United States, a fierce constitutional and international crisis is brewing. Trump bypassed congressional approval to launch this war. He claims the strike was necessary to eliminate imminent threats. Critics are pushing back hard. U.S. intelligence estimated Iran was years away from a nuclear weapon. Their ballistic missiles couldn't even reach the United States. International law experts are arguing this wasn't a legal war of necessity, but an illegal preventive war, launched simply because Iran was internally weak from its own protests. As of right now, the death toll is staggering and climbing. The Iranian Red Crescent reports at least 555 people killed. American soldiers, Israelis, and civilians across the UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Lebanon, and Iraq are among the casualties. Iran's provisional government is set on revenge, and the strikes are continuing back and forth. Governments are scrambling, and the world holds its breath to see if this is just a regional conflict or the beginning of something much, much worse. The situation is escalating daily. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss our follow-up reporting as this historic crisis unfolds. Stay safe, and we will see you in the next one.